the idea of the film, I heard you guys mention it was kind of started, right around the time you were writing Super Troopers. And of course, here we are now. Where did the original idea stem from?
Steve Lemme was working at the HMV record store, and he had a co-worker there who worked in the blues and jazz department. And the guy spoke out of the side of his mouth, and Lemme would come home and do his imitation, which was basically like, Steve, the saxophone is the loneliest instrument. I like to sit in my apartment on a hot, sweaty summer day and play for a woman who doesn't exist. And he would do that for us. And we would do it back at him. And we were like, let's put that into a movie. And then, I was a history major, and I'd been reading these Alexander Dumas books that are like Count of Monte Cristo and Three Musketeers. And those are sort of historical fiction dramas. And so we thought, well, there's a lot of like Pope versus, there's the church versus the state in a lot of the European history. So we thought we could do that. And then, we kind of were also very influenced by Monty Python, and we thought, oh, it would be cool to make a movie like that. And we ended up with this one.
That's hilarious.
Well, it worked.
It worked.
Great.
In the collaboration process, how does the casting go for each of you guys?
In this movie or in general?
In general, and in this movie?
Well, in general, we wait at the very last minute to cast. On our first movie, we sort of, each guy kind of had a part, but you find that you kind of write for yourself if you don't. So we kind of learned it's best to wait till the very last minute to cast, so everyone writes for every part. You want every single character to be fleshed out and have good arcs and stuff. So we wait till the last minute. And at that point, you kind of have a feeling for it. I mean, it kind of is organic at that point. It's sort of understood. Obviously, Steve was the main character in this one because it was the first character he came upon. But seeing Jay as a pope was a bit of a stretch. But as a ruler and a king and a director with an iron fist seemed pretty organic for him. I don't know. It just kind of falls in place. The secondary characters in this movie were a little bit more of a puzzle. You kind of think about scheduling, what was going to work when somebody had a big part. Like Jay had such a big part as the king that he had to have sort of secondary part that was a little smaller just for scheduling purposes and stuff like that. So that was a little bit more of a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, and also Kevin directing. There were times where he'd be in the makeup trailer. So thankfully, you guys are all directors, and somebody else can take over.
Right. Yeah, you got two directors on set, which is
for
nice.
sure.
So, and then it's great for me too. Like if Kevin was really busy as a director or playing two characters, I could say, Jay, you were behind the monitor. What do you think? What can I do in this performance? Like you can always lean on not only a friend but also two directors on set, which is cool.
What point did you come on board? And what was that process like?
I don't know exactly what I came aboard. I don't remember. I think it was like October I got the offer. I was visiting my brother in Seattle. I just landed and I got this phone call. Hey, you know the Broken Lizard guys? Like, yeah, huge fan. Like, they want you to be in the next movie. What? Okay. I read the first 30 pages and I was like dying. And I got it. It was like Monty Python all over this thing, and the fact that they were each going to play two different characters, and so I was just massively flattered. And then I got on a Zoom with Kevin and Steve, and immediately we hit it off. Steve insulted my last name, literally first thing out of his mouth, and I just gave it right back to him. So Hef was like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun. We got this," and immediately they just welcomed me as like one of them. So.
Was there any concern kind of going into these guys' world, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I was catching it. I didn't show it.
Right, for sure.
But I'm like, okay.
If you were nervous, it didn't show at all. Yeah, you.
Thankfully, I have a pretty sarcastic personality, so it was kind of.
Yeah, it was a natural fit. It was
natural.
And he showed up the first day, and everyone was laughing, having a great time. Really fun table reads, and then started with rewrites. It was just perfect fit.
Speaking of rewrites, obviously the time frame of when it was written to, over the last 10 or 15 years, what kind of, how hard was it kind of navigate the jokes from your point of view 10, 15 years ago to like the Quasi that we get today?
Well, I mean, the jokes we wrote 10, 15 years ago some of them were of that time. And they didn't work anymore, like they were so old I couldn't even remember the references. I'm like, what is this joke? Like, it's based on that song. I'm like, what is that song?
And you have to pull out the phone and play a song for
and
them.
I'm like, I don't like that
You're
song.
stretching.
We gotta change this now. So we, you know, we wanted to make it feel as modern as possible. You know, well, you know, and in terms of like, you know, the way, but generally we don't really change a lot based on how society has changed. We try to just do what we think is funny and present it in a way that won't get us canceled.
It's the best way, right? Follow up to you, Jay. Your performance it's brilliant. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like just downright brilliant. It's hilarious. Obviously, like I don't know how. Comedy is always just something that I love, just because like I don't know how you guys keep a straight face. Like I wouldn't be able to like deliver any of these lines. But
Well, it's interesting because I had 0 bloopers. The only blooper
What?
I had was when my wig came off.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
And it's because I was so deep in character, I think, that I didn't really have fucked up lines. I just said the lines. I knew them. I was like so deep. You don't have many bloopers either.
I don't
Oh,
think
you have a couple with
I
the
was
horse.
gonna say,
With the horse.
and I
Oh,
broke,
yeah,
I broke a
okay.
few times.
We looked. We couldn't find any bloopers from it.
Because you never screwed up?
No.
I mean, I don't know how.
It was hard being off camera though. Trying to not, you know.
try exact. I can
Trying to be
imagine.
good for them.
Horse-
Right.
That horse thing is wonderful though.
Oh my god.
That was phenomenal.
So we finally figured out, like, maybe step away from the horse. That horse really. I don't really like me. Just from my head, apparently.
Well, the funny thing is sort of interesting is like, you know, we write it and then we rehearse it. So it's not like we're cracking up on set because we've just been with it for so long. You know kind of what's happening. But if you can get one of the guys or girls to crack up, you feel like you've accomplished something.
I think in the movie, when the guard, you know, standing there and was like, it wasn't my hero, whatever.
Yeah.
You could see Hef start to,
Yeah.
you can see him start to smile.
That's when you're like,
Uh-huh.
that's when it's fun. You
Yeah.
know? You can get one of the guys to
Because
crack
he
up.
didn't
Oh,
make
for
it
sure.
like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's obviously guys doing it as long as you have. I'm sure there's a goal of trying to get other people to crack. You know, it is. I'm sure, because you're like,
Yeah, I just look at it like as an editor, when people break, the take is broken.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
like,
You try not to do it. Yeah, you try
so
not
I'm
to-
trying constantly never to break, ruin it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes, that's
In
the
Beer Fest, I'm standing next to Jay, and we're going around, and we shot what was written, and then we said, let's do a take and stop it. So everyone started, they taste the beer, and they say something about it, and nobody knows what's coming, right? So I'm standing next to Jay, and he makes up this line that's in the movie about, I want to freeze it and thaw it in the springtime and skate on it, or whatever, that line. And I had never heard it before, and I'm trying not to laugh, because I've never heard it before. Hold it, and then I couldn't hold it, and I snorted into my beer, and the beer shot in my face. I had to go get a blow dryer. Take her, but I held it long enough.
You held it
to be
long
able to,
enough,
like
you
say
did.
the take, made it in the movie.
Take.
obviously playing a queen. Did you draw from any characters that you saw, or was it something that you kind of organically just drew from the character? Love that.
Yeah, she's the reason I'm an actress. That movie is my favorite movie of all time, and she's such a badass and an inspiration. And still dating around the same time period. I felt like her.
Yeah.
Wardrobe.
Speaking of the wardrobe, being a period piece, what were some of the obstacles that you guys faced?
You wore the most clothing.
I did. It was a lot of clothing, but it was also this. I had a wig pinned into your, so it's pinned into your scalp, and then the crown is pinned into the wig, and there's a lot of like points into your hair at all times. You must have.
It was a piece. It
Oh,
was
I
a
see.
piece in the back. So
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot easier than pinning to your head, right?
Yeah. It was, but I'm not digging ditches. Whatever.
I'm just, and also like on the production side of things too. What were some of those?
Well, Erik had like the hardest part being on that rack for how
Oh,
many
that
hours
hurt.
a day.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah.
Like one costume thing was I had this gigantic red hat, and on a windy day you like try to hold that thing on, it's getting blown up. But then on the rack it was terrible because like, yeah, cool, I could just lie down in this bed for a while, but your arms are in this position, and then after about 5 minutes, it's a really awkward position. We'd be there for hours.
How many takes?
It doesn't look.
How many takes did you get of The Exorcist? Were you able to clean it?
I think we got that one that's in the movie, and we tried a second one, but you couldn't really get me back to 0.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it Paul who broke the first
Paul
one?
just held on long enough. Yeah, he broke.
Right, for example, I mean, if you
Yeah.
ruin that take, you're fucked.
Exactly, because of
You
all.
get one take.
You're
I mean,
that
I
guy.
could
Yeah,
get
exactly.
shot with this cannon of blood at me. And I was doing my damnedest, not because I would deliver lines. I didn't know where it's coming from, but all of a sudden, like, I knew I'm going to get hit in the face with blood and brains, right? So I'm like trying to deliver one, and I'm getting hit, and then I have to not break.
I mean, we did that thing at the end of the movie where people are throwing vegetables at us,
Yeah.
and we were getting hit for
Hit.
sure in the face. And
I
you're
saw
trying to do your lines, and Heffernan's like, "That's not your line." I'm like, "I'm getting fucking." And he goes, "All right, everybody, nobody hit him in the face." And I'm like, I know.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, I obviously heard a noticeable voice narrating the film. How did that come about?
Well, he's our most famous, guy who does voiceovers. And he's Scottish, but he can do that English accent really well. So he became the voice of McDonald's and all these other things after probably Succession. But we feel really lucky to know a guy who's that famous. So
Yeah.
who will do it?
Yes, exactly.
You know.
I mean, he's become a rock star.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's
Super well deserved. Incredible.
yeah. Succession's a great show. God, such a great show. Back to you. So, what's something that you think that you can take from this role to maybe use in future roles?
No, I mean, I think this movie and working with these guys gave me a lot of confidence in doing more comedy, more broad comedy, and so that's something I'm going to take with me to trust my instinct with that.
I love that.
Oh, you got it. You had it.
Thanks.
And then back to you guys. What do you guys do with like each movie? Do you see something that you take and you're like, I can use this on the next movie?
No, we really don't so much. I mean, because we keep making these Super Troopers movies, we always kind of figure we'll get another chance at that character. But we might make Weed Fest, and we would, we could do that again. I think
That'd be
I think
incredible.
the premise is that we smoke a strain of weed so wicked that it ages us 15 years.
Lock it down. Lock it down. All I know is I'd watch.